In this episode, we're going to go to grid control and configure a database. So let's do that. This is what you would do on the initial discovery of a database, and then you need to configure it. So let's go there. Let's go to grid control. Sign in. Targets. Let's go to databases. In this case, I'm going to go to the non-rack database, and here's where I'm going to configure the database. So initially, after the discovery of the database, we actually have to configure it. And then you click here, and in this particular case, I've already done it, but we would put actually the monitoring password. So let's go ahead and do that and say test the connection. And the connection was successful. We continue, and we hit submit. It takes a minute, and it was successful. And that's it for this particular episode. In this episode, we're going to create a super user for grid control. So let's go to sign into grid. Okay, we've created a super user. Let's go ahead and log out of our system. Now let's log in. And we're done. In this episode, we're going to add data files to an existing tablespace via grid control. So let's sign into grid control. Go into server, tablespaces, okay, let's pick a tablespace I want to add to. Let's just click edit here. And let's add. We're going to call this Soleo303.dbf and automatically extend, increment by 100. We'll say continue. And let's apply. It's done. Let's look at it now. Now we have 3 tablespaces, and we're done. So in this episode, we're going to change some init.ora, database init.ora parameters via grid control. We'll sign on to grid control. server, initialization parameters. So in this tab, we see all of the init.ora parameters and their current values. In this tab, we see what's in the SP file. So back onto this tab, we're going to see all the parameters, including some that can't be updated. For example, session cache cursors cannot be updated in the dynamically. So we would have to go to SP file to actually change it. Let's do that. Let's change it to 52. And that's all we need to do. So in this exercise, we're going to do a backup of a database via grid control. The first thing I want to show you is that the database is going to be called non-rack and is located on ASYS-2-SI1, and we are in the fast recovery area, or nearby at least. We are in the fast recovery area for non-rack. It will create another directory called backup set when we run the backup. This database is in non-archive lock mode, so when we do the backup, it's going to shut it down and bring it back up. So let's go ahead and do that through grid control. Schedule a backup. We want to hold database backup. We want to make sure that the login credentials here are set up properly, and then we're going to say schedule a customized backup. We're going to do a full backup, and we're going to say next. We're going to go to disk and put it in the fast recovery area. This is the job name that it does. It's going to be one-time and immediate. Okay, and this is what the rman script looks like. I'm going to go ahead and hit submit job. Job was successfully submitted, but let's go ahead and view the job. Now this job is running in grid control, so we can go here in this particular tab and look at the job. It's not running at the local server, not running at ASYS-2 or ASYS-2-SI1. It's running from grid control. So we'll just watch that. Let's see how we refresh here. So we will just hit the refresh button here. And we're going to do that a few times until it finally succeeds. In this particular case, the database has to shut down and start up, so it will take some time to do that. Presumably the pre-backup step is the shutting down. Notice how this changes as I'm hitting the refresh button. Okay. Still running. At this point, it's doing the backup. Once it's done, I imagine there'll be a post-backup step to bring it back up online, but let's see what happens. it seems like that part has finished. This part is still succeeded. Oh, I'm sorry, scheduled. So let's let's do this. Okay, everything has succeeded now. So now let's just, for fun, let's go back over to the database and make sure the database is up. And sure enough, it is. So if we click here, it should say we're up and running, and it is. So now let's go over here now and look at the fast recovery area. And now, lo and behold, there is a backup set. Let's go ahead and look at it. And it has a date. Let's look at it. And there are the data files. So we did a backup via grid control. So in this exercise, we're going to update the metric settings on grid control. And specifically, we're going to change some of the tablespace settings. So let's sign into grid control. Metrics and policy settings. Let's scroll down to tablespaces. And we have a table space out there called Soleo, and I want to add that to it. So I want to add Soleo. In particular, if it's more than, say, 81% full and critical threshold is 90%. So we will continue and say OK. And now it should be, let's just verify that it's in the settings now. And sure enough, it is. So in this exercise, we're going to set up notification methods and email preferences in grid control. So let's go to grid control. Oops, wrong. Grid control. So the first thing we need to do is set up our notification preferences. So let's go there. Notification methods here. This is where we set up our SMTP server, and I've already actually done it. I've chosen Comcast as my SMTP server. This is the server from which I send emails. So it logs into this SMTP server and sends email notifications to whomever I tell it to. So I'm going to actually do a test to see what happens. And if you just heard that buzz, that means that I just received a test from the Xfinity or Comcast. So let's just refresh here. And you see now that there is a test message from Comcast. So this particular test worked out. Now that I set up my SMTP notification methods, this is the server, I want to know to whom I'm notifying, and that we actually do in preferences. So let's go to preferences. In the generals tab, we set up long and short messages to Gmail and to US Infotech, which is my company that I work for. Now I'm going to hit test. Notice that you can only send long format to one and short format to one. You can't send the long format and short format to the same guy. So I'm going to hit test now. And that little note that you heard is from Outlook saying that I've received a message from to my work email, but I'm actually going to go over here as well, and this is now my Google Mail, and I've received a test message. So we've configured both the SMTP and notification methods, but we also set up our email address preferences. So in this exercise, we're going to set up notification schedules and notification rules within grid control. So let's sign into grid control. Let's go to preferences. So the first thing I want to do is set up a schedule. And notice for this particular week, let's go ahead and edit schedule. So, and we're going to continue this current schedule. Notice that Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday go to Isoleo at US Infotech, but Tuesday, Thursday, Saturdays seem to go to Gmail. So, and I really don't like that. So let's reverse that. Notice that you can, when you assign email addresses, you can assign it to more than one. But let's go ahead for this. We're going to do from all day. So we're going to say 12 a.m. to 12 a.m. We're going to say Gmail for Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. Let's update that. And we want to do Isoleo at US Infotech for Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. I'm going to fill those in. Oops. At US Infotech. So let's try that again. Okay, so we'll finish that. And so now our rules are set up, or our schedule is set up, but let's set up some rules in addition. So here are some notification rules. These mean that it goes to grid control, it shows up as errors or some messages, but we're going to go ahead and send emails when we have problems with the agents, and we apply. And we are done.